Hello there and welcome back to the Performance Centre here at Howley Hall Golf Club in Leeds in the UK. My name's Ryan Rastall, PGA professional here at the club, and today we're taking a look at the brand new Elyte range of drivers from Callaway Golf. So this is the time of year where we are hit thick and fast with brand new clubs hitting the market, trying to tempt the pounds and dollars out of your pockets. Now, some of you may be swayed by some of the marketing hype, some of you may not be. You might be a little bit more critical and want to try these before you buy them, and I do not blame you. So we'll have a bit of a chat about the different models available. Elyte is obviously a brand new name for Callaway, coming from obviously their founder, Eli Callaway, hence the Elyte name. So we have 3 new models here to look at. There's also a mini driver coming out, which we don't have a sample of it yet, but as soon as we do, there'll be another video hitting the channel with that on there too. So we've got the Triple Diamond, we've got Standard Elyte and Elyte X to talk to you about today. So there's some brand new technologies in these drivers, which Callaway have never used before. There's also some tweaks on sort of technologies that have evolved as well. So those of you that have been kind of across the drivers that Callaway have brought out over the last sort of 5-6 years will know that they've really invested heavily on AI. So artificial intelligence really helps them when they are designing product and particularly being able to kind of test it on the fly and certainly test more models to make sure that the next one that they bring out is a jump in performance to the previous model. So the carbon in the bottom there, so that's been made thinner and lighter so that they're able to save weight around the head. In the Triple Diamond here, we've got a front and back weight that we can shift around, which is very similar to the models that we've seen over the past couple of seasons. The biggest change is in the AI face, okay? So the 10X face here, Callaway have been able to kind of mock up more and more faces and change the designs and the acoustics and kind of really dial in this driver so that it is more forgiving than the previous model. It comes off a little bit hotter than the previous model, so we should see more distance, we should see more forgiveness, and hopefully hit a lot more fairways. Now, you'll see that the Triple Diamond model does not have the chevron on the top of it as well, and that kind of flows throughout this family of products. So the fairway woods that you'll see as well do not have that chevron on the top of it, so many of the kind of tour staff that are using this kind of prefer that look to the driver as well. When we then move into the more standard Elyte model here, you'll see that we do have the chevron on the top and it's more of a carbon kind of finish on there as well, which I think looks really, really good. We've obviously got a different weighting story in here too. So we've got the neutral, the draw and the fade bias weight in there, as well as this front weight that is actually movable and adjustable. So you can get different weights for these drivers when you're trying to fit them. All of them feature the dual cog system that we've seen from Callaway over the years in being able to change the loft and also the whether the face is draw or neutral. And then we see that in the X even more so. So going on to draw, this is a much more draw biased, draw model driver. You can see the neutral and heel weight adjustability there, and that weight has disappeared from the front of the driver. So what that's going to do is move the CG deeper and further back. So this driver should be easier to launch and also easier to get rid of that slice as well. So we're going to try all of them here in the Performance Centre today. We're going to hit lots of shots with them, and then we're going to give you a bit of feedback as to how each of them perform. So let's go hit some. So we're going to start with the Elyte X driver, okay? All of these that I'm going to try are 10.5 degree heads. Remember, in Elyte X, we've got that draw bias weight in there and also the neutral one in the centre, so I've left it there. We've also got the adjustability in the cog as well, and I've got my, my Ventus 7X shaft that I use in my own driver in here too, so it should feel a little bit more kind of, you know, what I'm used to really. So in terms of the loft, I've tried to match that up too. So mine is a 10.5 head at the moment in the current AI Smoke Triple Diamond. It's a 10.5 lofted down to 8.5, okay? I've got one of the Tour cogs on my driver shaft here that knocks it down a couple of degrees. So this is a 10.5 down to 8.5 as well. So let's have a bit of a hit with it. I mean, to start with, it looks way more draw bias than the other models. We can see that by its kind of a little offset sort of look to the neck when you sit it down behind it. And certainly looks like I'm not going to have any trouble hitting it down the left-hand side. So let's have a bit of a hit with it and see. The footprint is massive. It looks very, you know, big and almost very confidence inspiring, I suppose. So let's see how we hit it. It feels very good off the face. I think I've hit it a bit left, but yeah, I have. But it feels really, really good off the face. I mean, like I said, standing over it, it looks like I'm going to have to fight against this thing going left, but that's exactly what it's designed to do. It's designed to help those of you out there that struggle with that slice. You know, that's the shot in golf that people hit more than any other shot out there. So yeah, it's something that is maybe not for me, but it's doing its job straight away. I mean, that we can see that we've just hit it that little bit left. I'm going to see if I can actually get one somewhere near the fairway. It's a little straighter, I think, but for me, I'm trying to almost feel like I'm hitting a push to stop this from doing that, and you can see when I do that, it just pops it up in the air a little bit. It's still got a decent distance, but not as far as the one before. So yeah, I mean, everything about the weighting in this head, the way it's designed, is not necessarily for me, but you could be that golfer out there that this driver is absolutely the one that you need, and that's why we go and get properly custom fitted, isn't it? But yeah, in terms of the feel, it's nice and solid. Looks wise, it looks like it's going to help you to hit it left, which for many of you will be exactly what you want to see. But it does feel very, very good off the face. Yep, nice and solid. So now we move on to the Standard Elyte Driver, and reminder of the weighting in here. So we've got the neutral, we've got a fade and draw bias position that we can put the weight in here. We've also got this weight forward in the head. So what that does is move some of the weight forward in the head, and what that's going to help you to do is maybe knock some spin off. So we would expect this head to play a little bit lower spin than the X model that we've just tried, but who knows, that might not be the case. Again, I've set it the same, so it's a 10.5 head down to 8.5 degrees as well, and the same shaft and everything. So let's have a bit of a hit. I mean, straight away, it looks a little bit more neutral, sat behind the ball. The kind of size of the head looks the same. The shaping is ever so slightly different. There's a little bit less mass here. And certainly with all these drivers, it kind of looks like quite a lot of the mass has been sort of scalloped out of there as well. It's very different look to AI Smoke in that way. So let's have a bit of a hit and see. Yeah, it feels a bit more solid off the face. Certainly doesn't look like it wants to move and turn over as much as well. I mean, yeah, that was a pretty good hit there. Nearly took Oliver's head off. But yeah, certainly felt very different. The flight looks really good, a bit more neutral kind of flight. You can see the sort of distance has gone up a little bit as well. Ball speed's creeping up slightly too. Very, very good. Let's try and hit a couple more. That's gone a little left, I think. Just kind of miscued it a little bit. Yep, we've missed the fairway. Got the face a little bit shut, but yeah, certainly the spin's lower. Ball speed has really gone up with this driver now. So we've got a couple there sort of in the mid sort of 170s, which is pretty good. And distance wise, it's pretty decent as well. Right, let's hit a couple more before we move on to that Triple Diamond. Yeah, slightly better hit, maybe a little down the right sort of side of the fairway, but again, pretty good, and a shot that we'd be fairly happy with. Again, I mean, distance-wise, very, very good. We'll have a look more at the numbers, obviously, in a bit, but yeah, I mean, straight away, I feel more confident that this is going to go more towards the target that I'm aiming at, okay? And I think it's just more the way the head looks and the kind of geometry of it, and yeah, it's just easier to hit straighter. Right, let's have a go with the Triple Diamond. So now, our last model, Triple Diamond, obviously this is probably going to be the one I'm going to like the look of the most because I use the current model of Triple Diamond. The looks of it are very familiar, that more gloss kind of top to it. We've got the front and back weight in here again, which again is something that I've used. And this is the 10.5 head, again set down to 8.5, just like the driver that I use, exactly the same shaft. So let's have a look at this. So we'd expect this to be slightly lower spin, maybe slightly lower launching, and kind of that's looking at the numbers that we've got from the others. If we were able to do that with this, we should get some decent distance out of it. So let's have a bit of a hit and see how we get on. Certainly looks-wise behind the ball, I prefer it straight away. It feels pretty good off the face as well. Might just be slightly, I was going to say slightly down the left, but it's actually pretty straight. But yeah, I mean, looking at them, yeah, I mean, that's just different class in terms of the numbers straight away. Bear in mind, we've only hit one shot. But yeah, I mean, ball speed's good, spin's dropped a little bit. Same again, wasn't quite out the middle, but it's down the middle. Yeah, I mean, that is a very different flight to what I'm getting with the others as well, which I really like. Just more of like a crunch when you hit it, really. Yeah, I mean, that significantly lower flight. I was a little bit out of the bottom of the club, but distance-wise, it's still up there and pretty good, and the ball speed's decent. So, right, I'm going to hit a load more shots with all these drivers, and then we'll have a bit of a look at the results. So now we've had a chance to properly hit all of these drivers and hit a number of different shots with them. Let's see exactly how they perform. So when we're looking at, let's look at the ball speed, okay? Let's compare them all. We can see they're all very similar. So we've gone 168, 167, 169/170. So they're all within a couple of miles an hour of each other, which is a lot tighter than I was expecting. Now, the performance difference seems to be because of the spin. So we can see with Elyte X at 2,400, Elyte at 2.1, and Elyte Triple Diamond at under 2,000, which is unheard of for me, really. I mean, that is the difference in what we're seeing in the total distance. So you can see there at 286 carry with Elyte X versus 288 with Elyte, and 289, pretty much 290 with Elyte Triple Diamond. Now, you know, this is literally straight out the box. I've hit these. I probably will play around with the settings on them a little bit and improve these ever so slightly, because for me, I think it was a day where I wasn't swinging it particularly quickly for me, you know, around the 115 mark, and normally when I'm swinging nicely, it's kind of closer to 120, sort of 117, 18 is kind of where I generally see it. But I would normally launch it a bit higher than this. I don't know whether I just wasn't striking it great today either, but I mean, it's still a good way to test because, you know, they're all the same. But we can see that the Elyte Triple Diamond, in terms of how far it's going, at just less than 320 there, that's kind of what I would expect a good shot to go with my own anyway. So yeah, it's very good. I mean, and the others 310, 314. And certainly for me, the X is definitely easier to get in the air. It definitely is more draw bias. The Elyte is kind of much squarer. Again, I really like the look of that actually behind the ball. And the spin numbers surprise me because normally these types of drivers tend to spin through the roof. And the Triple Diamond is super low spin, which I really like. So I just think I need to launch that a little higher. And who knows how far it could go on a day if I'm swinging it actually slightly better. I think we could get some really good distance. And certainly that's what I found when testing other drivers that have released this year, is that particularly the Cobra one that was super low spin, so the DS Adapt LS. The numbers I was getting spin-wise were pretty similar to this. I was just able then to get the loft up a bit, and we got up to an average of 327 in the end. I think I just need to do a little bit more playing around with that Triple Diamond in Elyte in order to get that. But we'll have some videos coming where we're going to basically put all these drivers head to head, really try and fit them, dial them in, and see exactly which one wins in terms of distance. So let us know which one you prefer. Drop it in the comment section below. Hopefully you've enjoyed that video, and we'll see you all very, very soon.